founder of Emissions Analytics, and he joins us now live from London. Nick, great to have you on the show. Tell us what happened to what we were expecting, the electric car revolution. Where is it?
But it's coming slowly. Ultimately, consumers buy what they want to buy. And at the moment, the fashion is very strongly for large SUVs, almost whatever the powertrain, whether it's a normal engine or whether it's an electric engine. And that is driving the CO2 emissions upwards. But electric vehicles are coming. The biggest constraining factor, in my opinion, is the price. They remain very expensive. Even the entry-level electric vehicles are similar price to some of the premium internal combustion engines, and that really is putting a brake on the adoption, which is at around 1.5% of new car sales in the UK at the moment.
And Nick, so why are people still buying SUVs, given what we know and what we're seeing every week happening with climate change and severe extreme weather conditions?
Well, people buy them for the utility. People like big vehicles with a up-high driving position. And in a sense, people have got rather wary of emissions data. Ever since Dieselgate, there's now been a suspicion of whether they should trust official figures or not. And so people have put that aside, put that slightly out of their minds, and then gone and bought the vehicle they wanted because it suited their particular family circumstances or driving style. And that really is a problem, and there's a real pressing need for more independent, real-world emissions data, which is what we try and provide.
And, you know, you're there in the UK, and these figures are from the UK, but if that's happening there, what about countries such as China, such as India?
Well, I mean, China's a very interesting case. I mean, they've got had relatively high uptake of electric vehicles, but that was following very strong government policy and subsidies, which actually now has been dialed back and now being switched onto other forms of powertrain. And in the recent months, we've seen sales of electric vehicles in China as share of market fall back down again. So what we're seeing is electric vehicles are desirable but expensive. If you subsidize them, people will buy them, and they do like them. Norway is another good example of that. But if you dial back the incentives, the risk is that demand falls back down, people switch back to traditional internal combustion engine.
And so tell us, what do governments and also mayors who have, that's where electric vehicles really work, isn't it, in cities, what do they have to do so we see more and that they become normal, something that everybody drives, both commercially and personally?
Well, actually, it's rather a myth that electric vehicles are required to solve urban air quality problems. Electric vehicles are really about CO2 reduction and global warming. Internal combustion engines, whether they're gasoline vehicles or indeed diesel vehicles, now the latest versions of those are very clean for both nitrogen oxides and particulates. And so you can actually meet really good clean urban air with pure internal combustion engines. EVs are not necessary, but the one thing that internal combustion engines cannot do is get CO2 down low enough to meet, for example, the net zero CO2 target there's now in UK law.
You end there on an interesting point. Nick, wish we had more time. Nick Molden, founder of Air Alliance in London, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.